John here with To My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another knife-related video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Vero Engineering Synapse. And this is going to be kind of a review of the Synapse, but really it's going to be less of a review and more of an overview and showcase of Vero Engineering products. Because technically speaking, as of this recording, you can't buy the Vero Engineering Synapse. It was a limited release product that was sold via pre-order, and all of the original products have sold out. As of this recording, Joseph Vero is doing some lotteries and some auctions for a few of the remaining Synapse examples. Some of them are in rare variations of the Synapse, but they are essentially unavailable in a primary market sense. You're only going to be able to acquire them in the secondary market, and they are selling for quite a bit more than the original retail price because of their popularity and the demand. So something that to just keep in mind. Again, why am I doing a review of a knife that you can't buy? Well, it's because Vero Engineering has other designs, other knives that they're going to be releasing in the next few months, and I want people to be able to get an idea of what Vero Engineering is capable of, because I think it's such a fantastic knife brand and their products are so good. I think it's really deserving of attention. So let's talk a little bit about Joseph Vero, what he's accomplished in a relatively short amount of time. He first showed the prototype of his first knife design at Blade Show 2019. So he's really only been doing this a short time. And since then, he's released 3 products, 2 of which you see here, the Fulcrum, which I have reviewed here on the channel, the Synapse, and of course the first knife release that he did, which was the Impulse. And the really just phenomenal thing is that all 3 products have been just snatched up out of the market. People are singing the praises, from the highest mountains. It's been an absolute home run with each of those products. And I think it's really interesting to take a look at what Joseph Vero did when he started Vero Engineering and what he's done to achieve the level of success that he's had. And I think the key thing to know is that he really did it his way. He did it the way that he wanted to. There's certainly some similarities between his micro brand, if you will, and others like Holt Blade Works, for example. Both companies have been around relatively short amount of time. Holt Blade Works has been around a bit longer, but it's just really interesting to see how those 2 micro brands compare and contrast in how they've had pretty explosive growth in a relatively short amount of time. Joseph Vero, from what I'm able to glean in getting to know him a little bit, is a really sharp young man, family guy, knife enthusiast through and through. In many ways, his products, each of them, like the Vero Engineering Synapse, is a love letter to the knife enthusiast community. It's if some knife enthusiasts sat around and threw ideas together of what they most treasured and valued in the total package of what a knife can be, and here it is, guys. I'm going to give it to you, within my design vision, which I think is just phenomenal. Joseph Vero's really been able to focus on what he's good at and what he enjoys in terms of the knife making process, and I think that's a real key to his success. He's a design engineer by trade, by training, and in his, I guess, primary job, if you will. And his design is impeccable here. You can really tell, certainly if you're a student of knives, and if you've listened to any of the Instagram lives that he's done, or any of the kind of community chats that he's done, you will know that he goes through many iterations and just um, really just labors over the tiniest details of every aspect of every knife that he produces. Um, he's obsessive about the details. The packaging here, such a good example of that. Um, some knife companies are smart enough to give you a pouch, either as part of the packaging or as the packaging, as the case in the Synapse, for their knives. And that's such a smart idea. Most knife enthusiasts agree that having a pouch is much more desirable than having a box that sits in your closet. But this isn't just a pouch. As I showed in the unboxing that I did on this knife, uh, there is a patch here, a Velcro patch on the pouch of the actual knife, which I think is such a fantastic idea. Some people, are taking the patches off and putting them on articles of clothing or bags that they have, which is neat. The pouch itself is just a really well done, high quality pouch that's well padded, protects your knife well when you want to travel with it. It Also, part of the packaging is this nice thick cardboard, Vero branding. Joseph Vero is really good at branding and marketing, I think, and I'll try to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But this kind of certificate shows what the knife was like in the original configuration, which was very important because um, people can, after the fact, add different colored pivots or different pocket clips, and it's important to know if you're acquire one on the secondary. Am I getting the knife in its original configuration or not? That's important to know. So the kind of the certificate that comes with the knife is very smartly done. Again, just every detail very thought out and very much with the knife enthusiast in mind. So I'm so impressed. I'll go ahead and take the fulcrum here off the table. Again, I did a review of the Vero Engineering fulcrum, but such a neat product as well. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So Joseph, being a design engineer, he obviously is designing all of the knives that he's done, and he's really putting himself in a position with his company to be able to focus on what he's good at and what he likes to do, which I think is such a key to his success. Anything else that's involved from the concept to getting the knife in the person's hands, anything that's outside of that field of what he's good at and what he likes to do, he's essentially outsourced. If you kind of compare or contrast that again to like a Holt Blade Works, where Joe Holt bought a CNC type machine to be able to manufacture small runs of knives out of his basement, Joseph, in contrast, decided to partner with another company called Bestech, which is an overseas manufacturer. I think Bestech does have a U.S. presence, but they also have a large part of their manufacturing capability located in China. But that's really afforded him, again, to be able to focus on certain areas of the knife making process that he is good at and enjoys, and to be able to partner with a company to handle some of the other areas. And again, when you take a look at the details that are involved in a knife like the Synapse, the detent, so good. I mean, this thing flips unbelievably well. Just he designed this knife, with a lot of angles. The pocket clip is kind of very non-traditional. he really had to get with a competent manufacturer to be able to translate his vision into not only something that looks, captures the design aesthetic that he was after, but is able to execute it in a very functional manner with impeccable quality control, and he's found that in Bestech. Really, really impressive. Again, all three products in such a short amount of time. He's put out three different products. Look at Holt Bladeworks that is struggling to try to be able to create a second product after a follow up to the Spectre, just because of the limitations that they have. Joseph Vero, on the other hand, has released three different distinct products in a relatively short amount of time, and his partnership with Bestech, I think, is one of the reasons for that. Very smart, very clever, very, very admirable. Joseph Vero has taken a lot of risks in all along the way, and they've all paid off. Partnering with an overseas company, big risk, but big payoff. Because he did his homework, he did his due diligence, and he found a partnership that worked for him. I'm actually surprised. I think it was a risk to release the Impulse before this knife, because I think the Synapse is such a broad appeal EDC of the 3.2 inch size versus the larger size of the Impulse. The Synapse having a pretty universally liked blade shape with a drop point versus the Impulse that has a tanto that is not as universally well liked or of appeal. I just, it was a risk, but people really, really embraced the Impulse. And then he followed that up with the Synapse. I think that was an interesting strategy. Big risk, but he's hitting it out of the park. It's just phenomenal. With a micro brand like Vero Engineering, you're really buying into the maker as much as the product. And again, Joseph seems to be such a talented guy. If you look at his personal Instagram, you can see, he's been sharing pictures of knives from his personal collection for many years, and he's just such a knife enthusiast, and that's really shown through in his designs and how he's chosen to market, sell, and execute his knives. I found him to be extraordinarily generous, particularly with his time. He takes time every single day to engage with the knife enthusiast community, whether it be individuals who write to him or people that are part of the communities that he set up with. Let me take this opportunity to recommend to you that if you have any interest in a future Vero Engineering product, there's three things that I'm going to recommend that you do. Thing number one would be to get subscribed to his newsletter, and you can do that on the Vero Engineering webpage. I'll show the link at the bottom of the page here. Thing two would be to follow Vero Engineering on Instagram. He puts out a lot of information about future releases. Lotteries and auctions are done via that account. So follow him on Instagram. And then thing three would be to join the Vero Engineering group on Facebook. I will show that on the screen as well, the name of the group. And a lot of my favorite is the Facebook group, because that's more of a community environment where you can not only engage with Joseph and Michelle, who's helping Joseph with as the brand has grown. She's helping manage some of the social media. I think she's involved with the newsletter and helping him get some of the knives shipped out. But those are the best ways to make sure you don't miss out on these pre-orders that come up. And again, there's a new knife design that is going to be put out for pre-order. There's a lot of information about it already. On his social media, it's called the Vero Engineering Synapse. And it really looks like an exciting knife that I'm getting pretty hyped for. He's also got, that's going to come on the, the on the heels of that release, he's got an integral knife that he's involved with trying to get out to pre-order as well. It's going to be the knife that comes after the Axum. It doesn't have a name yet. So there's a lot to be excited for, and a lot of things that are coming out from Vero Engineering. Again, one of the reasons why I wanted to review the Synapse. So as you saw on the certificate, this is the blade steel is M390. Again, it's a drop point shape. M390 is certainly my favorite blade steel. I did get the more premium hand rub, which I think is gorgeous. Note the swedge that's on the knife. That's just another detail. It's part of the design language, I think, that kind of carries through to his knife designs to date. There's a similar swedge on the Impulse as well. But he didn't have to do that. He probably would have sold just as many knives by just making a basic drop point with the various finish offerings. There's a stone wash option. There's a belt finish, but this cost extra machine time. It's just an extra detail that appealed probably to his own personal aesthetic, but I think he knew that the knife enthusiast community would really appreciate as well. So again, just there's so many little things like that. Take a look at the flipper tab here. This kind of truncated flipper tab. Some people, I've never had an issue personally with flipper tabs, but some people really don't like how those stick out from the knife, not only from an aesthetic point of view, but from a functional point of view. This flipper tab, he's kind of recessed the frame here so that you have a little better access to it, but it's almost integrated. It's such a clean look, and it functions so well. The deployment on this is absolutely incredible. I think it's on par with some of the nicest flipping actions that I've ever experienced. I think it's pretty comparable to the Holt Spectre. It's absolutely effortless, and just love it. There is, of course, this little fuller slot on the back that allows you to pull the knife out like this if you're around people that might get disturbed by seeing the knife flip out, and then some people might think you have an automatic or something like that, so you can do it that way. But also Joseph, again, being such a knife enthusiast, he's a big middle finger flipper, or spidey flicker. I've been trying to learn how to do that myself, and wow, I actually did it. How about that? I have short little fat fingers, and doing that middle finger flick is certainly not intuitive to me, but I've started practicing it now that I have this knife. There we go. So yeah, again, Joseph understands the knife enthusiast community, knows that they like to fidget with their knives and kind of play with them. He can do all kinds of finger gymnastics. He said, that there's kind of an Easter egg that you can do this as a front flipper. Let me see if I can. Again, I'm just not, my finger dexterity is just not what other people's are. There we go, I got it. You can, if you do it correctly, open it as a front flipper by kind of grabbing onto the jimping here. But again, I'm just not as talented. I'm kind of pitiful in that regard. But again, it's a very fidgety knife. Knife guys are going to love it for that. And it's got all the really hallmarks of quality. It's got the insert to ensure that there's no lock stick. It's got the steel insert here. Again, the D10 is just perfect. The action is just perfect. Look at the the pocket clip. Now this is an accessory Timascus pocket clip. This is not the stock pocket clip. I do still have the stock one, but I put this one as well as the matching Timascus backspacer in that, again, Joseph has made available. But look at the integration here, how it's so clean. You can tell that he has such a, almost like Steve Jobs, that design is such a key important thing that's near and dear to him. If you watch my disassembly video, you can see how this is done, how the screws kind of go through the body to give this hardware invisible appearance here that integrates so seamlessly. And it's a very well done pocket clip. I've seen so many knife designs where the knife is so great, but the pocket clip is an afterthought, and that is not the case here. The pocket clip goes very easily over the pocket. There's nothing here to tear up your pocket, and it's very secure. Very high quality milled pocket clip. Really just love it. And of course, this Timascus is just gorgeous. But again, so many well executed details. Something else that Joseph understood is that knife enthusiasts like to customize. So these knives have always, whether we're talking about the Impulse or the Synapse, they've been made available with several different options that you can customize them with. If you look at my unboxing, you'll know that this came with a red G10, scales on it. I ordered with it a couple of others that were available. Let me recommend that don't do what I do, or what I did. Order all the accessory scales that you can, because I really would have liked to have gotten the green micarta and the black G10. And when I quickly did the order for this, I opted not to do that, and I regret it. I wish I had those options available to me now, and of course they're not available at this point. Hopefully more will be produced. Or order all the extra stuff, and if you decide you don't like it, you can always sell it, but it's hard to go backwards. But again, you can get, if you look at my unboxing, you saw the red G10. If you look at my disassembly video, you can see how the knife looks with both the red end cut carbon fiber handle scales, as well as I had a purple pivot. I'm hoping to be able to get a blue pivot at some point. I think that would look really nice. Again, he just understands knife guys. He understands that they like to play Barbie with their knives and dress them up, change their clothes, if you will. Just so fantastic. The fit and finish on this knife is really quite good. I would put it on par with some of the best examples of knives that I've seen from the East. For example, knives, Riot. Again, when I did the complete disassembly, I really got the opportunity to take a look at how well this was manufactured, and they don't cut corners. It's just very, very well done. Best Tech, really super impressed. Like it a lot. And again, I can't emphasize this enough, that there's just a million little details in this design and execution of this knife that make it just so cool. Again, it is such a love letter to the knife enthusiast community. So there you have it. That is my review of the Vero Engineering Synapse. I really can't find too much fault with the knife, other than, again, I just wish that it were an evergreen type product, because of the availability. Will there be another release of the Synapse? I would like to think so. I don't know, but until I can actually get, I know that I can get another one. I'm reluctant to use this knife. This is, it's a special knife to me. It's going to be more of a safe queen, but once I do the pre-order on the next model, the Axum, that may be a knife that I'm more enthusiastic about using as opposed to the Synapse. But just a fun knife. I do carry it. I do like to play with it, but I haven't cut with it again just because they're so rare at this point, and I don't know when or if I'll be able to get another one. So pay attention to the newsletter. Do some checking into the Axum. Really, that's kind of the point of this video, is to make sure that you understand that there are more knives coming from Vero Engineering. What we've seen is just the tip of the iceberg. I wish Joseph Vero and Vero Engineering all the success in the world. Congratulations on not only the Synapse, but all three products that you've produced. So great. I'm just really impressed, and looking forward, hopefully when all this COVID-19 garbage is done and over with, hoping to get to meet up with you, perhaps at Blade Show, shake your hand, and just be able to talk knives, because he's a knife guy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.
I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.